Hello, everybody, and welcome to the smooth, seductive sound of the Streakers Island podcast, powered by Streakers Gaming. We have a great show today. We are joined by Chazzy 7.16. We thought the update was done after 7. The Streakers app is incredible. Chazzy runs off white milk and chocolate milk. I think the next update's strawberry milk, so be ready for that one. We're also joined by Mr. Lane Dashco, who's very serious. He's like stealing. Yeah, bro. He's trying to steal Dan's soul. And of course, we have more for your money. And Chazzy's so worried about more for getting him too much for his money, he ran away. But
he's still there.
Dan, is your soul worth the luck? I could sell it. I need to sell it.
Yeah, $20. Let's go.
I was thinking 50.
That's from the Jays sweep over the Giants.
Yeah, we're
96 wins.
That's right. It's coming.
We're going to be talking about that sweep and how I have some different views than Dan and Dashing about it. Week 7 in the Canadian Football League had some drama, so we're going to get into that. I have our updated CFL Power Rankings. The WNBA players are upset about their pay structure, so we're gonna touch that a little bit. It is a big topic in the sports world. The Marner money has been used. Was it used well? We'll get into that. And whatever else we decide to talk about, because as much as I write these boys a script, I've got only to talk about. Dan might soon talk about how one day he went to Chuck's Roadhouse and got ribs on Wednesdays. Great deal. We're not sponsored by Chuck's Roadhouse, but we could be. But before we get into what happened in week 7, because we all know what happened in week 7, we had the Argos. Argos did not beat the Owls. Like, good Lord, I wish. Argos lost to the Owls. Stamps destroyed the Blue Bombers. Rough Riders had a tighter game against the Lions than they would have liked. And the Red Blacks lost to the Tiger Cats. So with all that happening, my new rankings. Number 1, Calgary Stampeders. Number 2, Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Number 3, Hamilton Tiger Cats.
That's Kiwi, baby.
Hamilton did drop from 2 to 3, but I'll explain why. Number 4, Montreal Alouettes. Number 5, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Number 6, the BC Lions. Number 7, the Toronto Argos. Number 8, the Ottawa Red Blacks. Number 9, the Edmonton Elks. Now, I'd like to kind of get over on these ones. 1 to 3 is your tier 1 teams, right? Like, they're your teams that Hamilton has now won
4 in a row
straight. But let's be honest, I think they could have won that game against Ottawa a little more controlled than they did. Saskatchewan snapped their losing streak by pretty much controlling the entire game against BC. Again, probably should have won that game more than they did. But still, BC is a tougher team than Ottawa to beat. And you have the Calgary Stampeders, who are clearly the best team in the league. You now have your tier 3, which is Montreal, Winnipeg, and the Lions. Montreal was the best of
tier 2.
of the tier 2. Montreal was the best of the tier 2. As you have Montreal, who did get a win, but Davis
disagree.
Okay, who's better than Montreal?
Winnipeg. Because Alexander's injured for 6 weeks.
That's next week, though.
Yeah, and Chris Trev and Zach Collaros is out at least next week. What's your point?
Well, true.
And I'm sorry, but Winnipeg has had back-to-back complete failures.
Like,
This stretch. I'll be honest, I really debated on putting the Lions ahead of the Blue Bombers.
Wow.
I really debated on it. I went back and forth. But at the end of the day, the Blue Bombers do have a slightly better record right now, so it's why. But like the tier, I think Winnipeg and the Lions, I could flip-flop all day.
Wow.
Montreal is clearly the better team out of those 3. Then we have Toronto, Ottawa, and Edmonton. Now, Edmonton, the last game they played, they couldn't even throw for more than 50 yards, hence why they're ranked.
Yeah, of course.
Coming off the bye here.
People will argue with me between Ottawa and Toronto. At the end of the day, Toronto was 1 point away from beating Montreal, who is one of the best teams in the league.
Yes.
They're top 4 in my opinion. Ottawa got doubled up by a Hamilton team that I didn't even think played their best football.
Right.
So those are my rankings. Do we agree, boys?
I think you're spot on.
So Dan, is it just Montreal and Winnipeg?
Yeah, I would say out of that group, BC's the worst. Winnipeg's the best, and Montreal's in the middle because we don't know with the quarterback situation in Montreal.
We don't know in Winnipeg either.
And we don't know Winnipeg too, but we do know that Dave Alexander be out for at least 6 weeks. We haven't seen Zach Claros play on his 6-week injured reserve yet. Zach Claros could just be out for 1 week, right? So, and with BC, I think it's still some drama in the dressing room. I don't think we're as good as I think we're going to start losing some games here. So that's just my prediction.
Well, time will tell. And I mean, the Lions, realistically, they have an Eastern swing coming up we'll talk more about that on Thursday's episode. Mm-hmm. But the Lions have some big games coming up for them, and so do the Argonauts. And
they do have an offense, no?
The Lions? Well, do they? Let's actually start talking about these games, and let's start with the Riders versus the Lions. Nathan Rourke thinks every single receiver is 7 feet tall. Yeah, that's a huge problem. He's overthrowing everyone by a good 6-7 inches. Yeah. And I get they say it's not the size, it's how you use it, but you can't make up 6 or 7 inches in those instances. No. So, I mean, BC, they're a wild card team for me because I feel Nathan Rourke in the last game is what we have seen from Nathan Rourke the last couple of years. Right. I see some plays that makes me think he's a tier 1 quarterback. I see some plays that make me think I'd rather have Cody Fajardo starting.
Right.
And I know he's not on that team, but what I mean is I'd rather have a backup quarterback in. Like, that's kind of my thing with Nathan Rourke and this Lions offense. It has not been able to have a consistent 60-minute game where I feel every time this offense steps on the field, and I get you're going to have the odd bad drive, but for the most part, every time it steps on the field, it's a tier 1 offense. And I just have not seen that from this Lions team this year.
I feel if Cody Fajardo was starting, maybe Edmonton would be in the position that we're in now.
We haven't heard anything yet about that. We won't hear anything. Edmonton's, I don't believe their first practice is until Tuesday. So we won't hear anything until we do our Thursday episode.
Well, they're running into the Rough Riders.
So. They are, and the Riders are just coming off that big win. But I mean, I don't think the Riders will be happy with the way they closed that game out. I think the Riders will feel like this game could have been a bigger victory than it was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I missed it on the live show, but what was the key to tonight shutting down Lawler?
Double teaming.
I got a touchdown in 66 yards, but only 3 catches.
You double teamed him. You basically told Bo Levi Mitchell go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mitchell still did manage to put up 30 points, but a lot of that was on Ottawa mistakes. Pardon?
327 is that average for QB in CFL? Or?
Anything over 300 is considered good. Like, you know, in the NFL, if you go over like 225, it's considered a pretty decent game.
Yeah.
Anything over 300 in the CFL, you're like, okay, that's pretty good numbers. Now, yardage doesn't mean everything. The one interception by Bo Levi Mitchell was dreadful. It's only a second interception of the season, but still, like it was a dreadful pick.
It was, unfortunately.
Lane, being the Ticats fan, are you impressed with your team tonight?
So I'll kind of say a little bit of both, right? Like I said this in the post game, but I'll say it for Chazzy here too. I do kind of feel like, at the end of the day, this was more of a defensive game, and I still think, the offense I feel like shouldn't be struggling this much. Yeah, I get what they did. They double teamed Kenny Lawler, and you asked for that, so I can't say that they didn't ask for it because I literally went bragging to every single team. Well, do this. Well, they're doing it, and now your offense isn't that good. Like at the end of the day, you had one good quarter. Then the second quarter, you had that hit, which, I think really actually, I'll be honest, I really feel like, especially that second quarter, really changed the momentum of that game because Dustin Crum actually came in and played pretty fantastically well, I would say, even for the majority of that game. And then, third, fourth quarter, still again, Bo Levi Mitchell was just doing average things, and his defense was giving him plays over the 50-yard line. They were kicking field goals and getting lucky rushing touchdowns because you got good field possession. It was all your defense. If it wasn't for your defense, this would have been a blow-up for Ottawa.
I do agree with you then to a point, except Ottawa, they can't seem to finish. Even when Drew Brown was in, and Drew Brown's supposed to be your deep ball quarterback, Ottawa is dead last in explosive plays, and they create the least amount of plays and allow the most explosive plays in the CFL. And in 3-down football, you need to be able to flip the field, and Ottawa just can't seem to flip the field. And that's been an issue for them. And I actually think, and I've seen this on social media, Lane's been calling for it for a couple of weeks. I wonder how much longer Bob Dice is the head coach of the Ottawa Red Blacks. I really do.
Yeah,
I think
if you look, Hamilton made a coaching change when they went to Milanovic. And yeah, it did take a couple weeks for it to get going. And now, I put Hamilton as the third best team in the CFL right now.
I think it's true.
Wasn't Moran
Well, his comment at halftime too, no, or coming out of half.
Coming out of halftime, Bob Dice said, and let's get into this hit here. Bob Dice said, he's like, I don't know why he's not kicked out of the game. And I agreed with Bob Dice personally. I thought the hit was a hit to the head, as much as Dan and Lane in the live show at first argued with me. He didn't hit his head, he hit his helmet. I'm like, well, his helmet is what's over his head.
Well, okay, I did.
Oh, Chazzy's a dog lover. I just want to add that for people who can't see him. Which, if you're not seeing Chazzy, he's almost as dashing as Lane Dashing Dash Coach.
I will be honest. I did at first think it was here, but when I don't have TiVo, I don't pay for premium features and for rewind. So once I saw it again, they slowed it down again. I was like, okay, maybe. And then actually, I will give credit to Dan Gray. He actually did bring up a good point, because I made the argument. Well, it looked like he did kind of put his head down at the last second, but Dan Gray said, when you're falling, like. Not his fault that
that's how his helmet popped off. No, just hit his chin.
Right.
So what happened is Deshaun Amos started low and elevated up into the hit, which hit his helmet and sent the helmet flying. Yeah. It was a 25-yard penalty as a Class 2 roughing the passer, and I really feel it should have been a game misconduct.
What's a Class 3?
There is no Class 3. It's Class 2.
A part of me, maybe this is just because I'm a Ticats fan, but I still think, if I'm being objective, I still think 25 yards is way too much. Like I understand why you got to do it, but like, come on, you're basically giving them free. You might as well just give them 3 points at that rate.
But Lane, but at that rate, that's like saying they shouldn't give someone a penalty if a team's already on a 5-on-4 power play. You're just giving them power
25 yards. Like,
yes, 25. It's a new rule in the league. And Riddle, and mark this down, July 21st at 12:35. Mr. Sports Analyst on the show said that this will be an NFL rule for the next 2 years.
You think so, eh?
100%. This will be an NFL rule. So
like an unnecessary roughness, or
times 2. A Class 2 will be a 25-yarder. And I won't be surprised if a Class 2 roughing the passer comes in, it's an automatic game misconduct.
Okay, but
we have to start protecting these quarterbacks.
But Jacob, maybe
25 yards.
If it's a Class 2.
Like hit to the head.
Then that's fine, but they should do a review. You know what they should do? They should do what they do in hockey, where you call it that, and then they didn't. They didn't review it.
Yeah, they did. The replay center does review all 25-yard ones. Yes, they do.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Do they review for suspension, though? Or is that after?
Now, the suspension will be after, if there is one. I think there should be a suspension. I don't think there will be. I think he'll get a fine.
But, Chaz, you missed a fun conversation we had about the word that everyone loves in sports, intent.
Oh, intent.
Because we were talking about it, and I'm just like, I don't know. I know we can talk about it here again too, but do you kind of like, what do you think? Like, I want to ask Chazzy, because he didn't get a opinion. What do you think they should do with this word intent? Like, how can they change the rule? Because we brought up a good point. Well, they call it in this game, but then they won't call it in this game. It'll be like, well, his intent wasn't the head. And I'm like, my point is, the way these rules are written, especially these Class 2 rules, and I feel like all these kind of rules are written so generic that it's almost like, it's not even that some people will say, well, they're trying to like favor to one team, but I generally think it just intent means what you like, what Jacob thinks, what I think, what you think, what Dan thinks. If we're the ref in those games, and intent can mean 4 different things. So why don't they just make these rules like point and black? If you do this, it's just a 25-yard penalty and you're ejected. There's no well if or not if. What are they gonna? How do they change this? Because we're seeing this happen. It's already happened twice now, where one got called and one didn't.
So just again, for people watching this episode on YouTube, which we do have a YouTube channel, here is the hit. And again, we're seeing it's a blatant hit to the head. There is no doubt in my mind that any hit to the head is an automatic 25-yard penalty for roughing the passer. You can see it's blatant to the head. It's very blatant.
He was, well, yeah. No, it was hit to the head. I'm not arguing with that. But he was pretty low, no?
Yeah, but Chazzy, you're low there as a quarterback because you see the hit coming, so you want to avoid the fumble. So you go into protection.
I thought originally, yeah.
Right? And it is the defensive back's job, who's blitzing there, to adjust his hit.
I know, but these guys are coming at you like freight.
I don't care. You're professional.
I know, but that's like telling, like, you're mid, like, I don't know. That's tough.
You're not mid-hit, though, at that point, right? Like, he committed – Deshaun Amos led upwards during the hit. It's clear as day. I get what you're saying, Chazzy, but at the end of the day, we want to protect – they keep saying we want to protect quarterbacks. The only way to protect them is to start protecting them. And we've already seen too many quarterbacks get injured this year, and I'm just going to say this, in a passing league, we need our quarterbacks in it to keep the league entertained.
One question I had is they threw a flag and they're able to challenge a pass interference. What's the rule on that? How many allowed or how many are not allowed?
So for challenges,
yeah,
2 challenges if you get the first one right. If you get the first one wrong, that's it. And you have to have at least 1 timeout, and you only get 2 timeouts per game.
2 maximum for the whole game?
Yeah.
But you have to get the first one right.
Yeah.
Only on pass interference?
You need at least 1 timeout available to put up against it. And you only get 2 timeouts per game, not like the NFL where you get 3 timeouts per half.
Oh, okay. So it's you get 2 for the whole game.
And after and in the final 3 minutes of the game, if you have 2 timeouts, you lose 1 automatically.
Now, is it like NFL where you have to call before the next play?
Yes. Okay. So you'll see teams go into a hurry-up offense, but obviously you can't do that there when your quarterback is like dying.
They got spotters?
Yes. Yeah, and so Drew Brown did not return in that game.
You do also have 2 3-minute warnings, which is like the same as a 2-minute warning in NFL, but happens at 3 minutes, so it's almost like a timeout.
Yeah.
But getting back to Delane, I think they'll always keep it vague. They'll keep it neutral. They'll be able to debate. And I
know, but it just creates so many issues, don't you think, Chazzy? Like, again, I made the joke. Like, was it a kick? Like, again, I just think it's these rules. The way they're why do they make it so vague? Like, you're just going to create problem because you're going to see next week someone's going to do a similar hit. It might be 1 millimeter lower than this one. And they'll be like, well, he didn't try to take off his head because it was 1 millimeter lower. Like,
yeah, but Lane, if it is lower and he hits chest, then that's a clean hit.
But my point is just, sometimes your head could be here or here. It could be, well,
it doesn't matter. Your head's where your head is. Where your head at, boy.
I know, but you know what I'm saying, right, Jacob?
I do get what you're saying, but in these situations, if it's a hit to the head, it's a 25-yard roughing the passer penalty.
You already said they didn't call the one in Winnipeg that everyone thought.
That wasn't a hit to the head, though. That was a hit to the chest. I don't have that one readily available, but it was not a hit to the head. So let's move on to that game, actually, then, between the Stamps and the Blue Bombers. And it sucks that Zach Collaros got hurt, but I'm seeing Winnipeg fans complain and cry that Collaros, it was a dirty hit. It wasn't. It was a clean hit. Hit to the chest. He hit him at the same time he threw the ball.
Yeah.
What's the diagnosis? Concussion or just
we won't know until Tuesday at the earliest. Because they basically won't announce it until they start practice. But I would be shocked if Zach Collaros plays this week. I think he'll be out at least 2 weeks, if not 3, if I had to make a guess.
So are you guys licking your chops here in Argo land?
Well, I mean, Toronto needs this win, but I'd argue Winnipeg does too. Winnipeg, you know what? They've lost 2 in a row now, and 2 games, I'm going to say it, embarrassing. The 2 they've lost to Calgary.
Yeah, hosting the Grey Cup this year.
So who's their backup?
Traveler.
Is he?
Who you may remember him, Chazzy. He played for the New York Jets briefly.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
he's a short yardage specialist. However, the first game of the season against, I believe it was Edmonton, he did play very well. Now, it was against Edmonton, who I've rated as the worst team in the league. So time will tell there, but I think Winnipeg has more problems than just the quarterback play. You let Vernon Adams Jr. do whatever the hell he wanted that game. He's literally spinning around doing 360s, doing a pirouette, and then ball.
Oh, it's crazy.
What they brought him to town for.
Like it's a major problem in Winnipeg. You're built around defense.
Like I said, VA used to do a spinning baseball thing. So at the Argo games, they take a random fan and they make them put their head against the baseball bat and spin like 10, 15 times and then go kick a field goal. And a lot of times people are too dizzy in order to kick it properly. The way VA was spinning that game, I think he could spin around 30 times to still fall a ball perfect. Wow.
But I mean, at the end of the day, there we saw Calgary really prove that they are the best team in the CFL over these last.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not just winning, but dominating.
Exactly. I just shocked Lade there with that.
But is Vernon is VA changing the game in the CFL for the quarterback position because of the importance on the run game?
Interesting.
Well, in the CFL, though, the best quarterbacks are the more mobile quarterbacks. It's funny, we're seeing that shift in the NFL, where we've seen this shift in the CFL for about 20 years.
Look at Josh Allen. He's very mobile.
You know, I understand that, Dan, but like you look at like Damon Allen, who is basically a running back who could throw it 80 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of being, and that's what everyone hopes Trey Ford will become at Edmonton. It's just patent pending to see if that'll happen. But I do agree with you, Chazzy. I do think maybe VA is the change of the guard for who's the top quarterback in the league, the tier 1. It used to be Zach Collaros, and I think he's taken over in that tier 1 spot. Where we talked about it in a live show recently, I think Zach Collaros is a tier 3 quarterback right now in this league. When you look at the efficiency ratings, you look at the interception to touchdown ratio.
Chazzy, would you agree with me, because you weren't in the episode we were talking about this, would you say Zach Collaros is like the CFL version of Aaron Rodgers? Like someone that's really good and done
Aaron Rodgers isn't good, Dan.
He's just getting a little bit older. And
Aaron Rodgers isn't good. I can't wait to get Chazzy his clown suit off Amazon.
No, but I'm serious, bro. I really think those two are comparable because Aaron Rodgers has done a lot of good in the past and he's been weak the last couple of years. I think Zach Collaros has done the same thing. He's really getting past, been weak the last couple of years. But I still don't think it's really retired. Pardon me?
Collaros has been on the same team for a while, no?
Oh, he has. Yeah, for sure.
The last 5 years.
See, I don't know enough about Collaros to sort of compare him.
Okay, yeah.
But he's still with the same team. He hasn't moved on to another team and sort of try to recreate that magic.
No, that's true.
That's more been Bo Levi Mitchell and Hamilton.
Yeah.
Except now it's finally starting to click. But before we already kind of dove into that one, but now let's get into the Argos versus the Owls, which I would say this was the most exciting game of the week.
No kidding.
Just not the result that anyone in the 6 wanted. Seeing the Argos blow an 18-point lead.
Like, how upset are you with that?
I'm calmer now. I'm calmer now.
Oh my gosh! You should have seen Jacob live when it happened. Holy cow! It was scary.
Oh, I can imagine.
Holy!
I was furious because the Argos lost that.
Cranky Jakey at level 20.
I don't feel Montreal won that game. I feel like Toronto lost it.
100%.
Between not running the ball in the second half, no points in the fourth quarter, Arbuckle fumbling the ball when you just can't, and the terrible interception on second down, on 2nd and 8 when you're in 3-down territory anyways. At that point, just take the sack and live for 3rd down. And
you're like 25-7.
Like this game should have been under control, and it just wasn't. Now that I'm calmer, there is a lot of things Toronto can take away from that game. They did a lot of things right in the first half. If you can just take that first half and extend it to a full game, which they're going to have to, because, you're coming in a Western trip that you just got to play well in.
Do you think it's time to play Chad Kelly now, though? Like I know you and Dan were talking about how you do applaud the Argos for not rushing him back, because some teams do. We talked about this too, Chazzy.
Dave Alexander.
How some teams they will rush their player back just to get a result, but it ends up back on the air. And the Argos didn't do that with Chad Kelly. But I'm wondering, with you guys being 1-5 now, do you have to take that game and be like, well, if he's not 100%, we need Chad Kelly back?
No, with the injury that he had, no.
Well, you're neck and neck with the Red Blacks, so you're not too worried right now.
And you have the BC Lions, who
crossover though.
The crossover, yes, the crossover.
Yeah, but you still have 2 games against BC, and you're currently 2 points behind them. It's one of those things you have to decide: is it worth the risk? I would personally say no, because this season's almost in write-off territory for Toronto. And if it's in write-off, maybe with Chad Kelly, you just call it a day with him, and you get him ready for next year. And that might sound crazy.
So what's your scale on making the playoffs right now then?
Right now, I think the Argos make the playoffs. I give it between, I don't know, 20% chance right now making the playoffs, 20 to 30.
Yeah. What's what do you think?
But the way they're playing right now, yeah.
I give the Argos credit for resting Chad Kelly. I mean, you look at Montreal with David Alexander. Yeah, like I said, it was cute Walt Disney movie. Got the one win by 1 point. But look at you now. You lost your franchise and an old quarterback for 6 weeks. So where does that leave you? ... So I think they did the right thing. And Nick Arbuckle has really struggled. He did just win you the Grey Cup the year before. I think the Argos are in a different situation than other teams because they have won, as my t-shirt says, they have won the past 2 Grey Cups in the past 3 years. You know, they can't keep going forever, right?
You giving them a hall pass?
A little bit, yeah, because at least they got recent success, you know, like a lot of teams don't. And, you know, with Chad Kelly, I would love to see him come back next week. I really do. But do I want him to risk his whole career so that we can maybe squeeze into the playoffs this year? No. I think Chad Kelly's one of the few quarterbacks in the league. Well, I shouldn't say few, but I think Chad Kelly is a franchise quarterback. And is it worth injuring a franchise quarterback's career for a year when you could barely make the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know what the $1 million answer is with the Argos. I don't know. I can't say we need new coaching because this coaching has got from.
I think they need to pick a true defensive coordinator because this defense doesn't have an identity. Are they blitzing? Do they drop back? Is it man coverage? Is it zone? Is it the way Montreal does it where they fake blitz half the time? This defense does not have an identity in Toronto.
And I think it's just bad timing, too. Yes, Chad Kelly injury sucks. But if you look at it, will we be in the same situation if Whitney Bananas didn't get injured? If Grant didn't get injured? If the both running backs didn't get injured all at the same time? And the other thing is you built this dynasty championship team. And we all got paid. You're in the salary cap era, right? So obviously, you know, you can't keep these guys forever. So
now, Dan,
really tough.
I'm going to say something that you're going to hate.
Okay.
Does Toronto consider, if they don't think Kelly's ever going to back 100%, to move on from him next year, use that extra $500,000 between Kelly and Arbuckle to fix all the other holes?
What are you going to get as quarterback for? You don't have Arbuckle anymore.
You stick with Arbuckle because Arbuckle with a better defense and maybe a decent running back. I'll be honest. I think Toronto could easily be 3-2. They're not. I understand they're 1-5. I do have eyes.
Yeah, I think.
I think they could be a 3-2 club. And maybe if you had the salary cap to keep Kadeem Carey and Deshaun Amos, and you didn't give up Jamal Peters a couple years ago, and you didn't have to give up Royce Metier, as dumb as it sounds, you can get all those players from the price difference between Chad Kelly and Nick Arbuckle. Maybe this is a different team. I'm not saying that's what they do, Dan, but it's kind of like which we'll get into later, but it's kind of like what the Leafs did with Marner. They used his $11 million to round out the rest of their roster. I know you don't like to hear it, Dan, but if you don't think Kelly will ever get back.
Okay, so you gave up a franchise player to get a third line.
Yes, which we'll get into that later in the show. I don't want to get into that now specifically. But what I'm saying is you could give up your franchise quarterback to fix your entire defense for about the same price. I know you don't like to hear it.
Yeah, I hear what you say.
I know you don't like it, but it's kind of like, but look, it did backfire in Edmonton. They gave up Eugene Lewis to fix their defense. Now their defense still sucks. Well, yeah, and now they don't have a top-end receiver anymore. But the other big thing from this game was Davis Alexander re-injuring his hamstring. The coach from the Montreal is not happy about the injury. And as we have learned from Third Down Nation, don't ask him about it. This is straight from the coach. Davis is out. We don't know how long. He'll be out this week, and I'm not going to keep answering it. You keep asking me, I'm just going to keep telling you this week. He ain't playing. Don't ask. So don't ask him. And right after that, about a couple hours later, he was put on the 6-game injured list. Now, he can be pulled off as early as 4 weeks off that list, but it means he's out for at least a month. I don't think we'll see him back until probably Labor Day, if I had to make a guess.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to Calgary.
Find a way to go at least 500 without Davis Alexander.
Right.
Starting in Calgary.
Yeah, it's tough.
This is where the East becomes very interesting, and I hate to say it, but now Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto all will not have a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Which team can find a way to win without their starter? Mind you, Ottawa's only win is with Dustin Crum.
So someone sacked Bo Levi very good, and everyone's even.
No.
Is there any
injuries on the island?
Is there any QBs available? Free agents out there?
Not really. I mean, maybe a Shea Patterson. He started 7 games for the Riders, was under 500, but had a couple 300-yard games. So maybe that's an option.
You know what? I'm going to put a wild card out there because it's played in 2 years now. I would say Cornelius. I don't know why Edmonton gave up on him as quick as they did.
Maybe Cameron Dukes.
But he was 6'7", and he could wrestle. He was a giant. He could wrestle like crazy.
But he had 0 accuracy, and he made so many bad reads. I'd be more willing to bring in a guy like Cameron Dukes, who had a winning record as a starter.
Yeah, as another one, Cameron Dukes.
So, yeah, Chaz, to answer your question, there are some quarterbacks, none like out of this world, but there's some decent options out there. I think probably Cameron Dukes is probably your best option, or Shea Patterson.
Or we could see a rare thing happen in CFL and see a trade. Someone like Edmonton that has Cody Fajardo sitting on the bench. I said he'd love to be a starter somewhere. I was going to say Montreal with Bethel Thompson, but now he's going to get
Who's got the cap room, though?
Bummy?
Who has
no
cap
one really. Well, Winnipeg's not right up on the cap because they didn't spend all the way and then let Kenny Lawler walk. Fans love that.
You also have that Tuku Wawa from Hamilton.
Nope, he's in the XFL.
Oh, okay.
Now, mind you, the XFL season is done, so we could potentially come back to the CFL, but I don't see it.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I personally think these teams are going to ride it out with who they have because Ottawa knows they can win with Dustin Crum. Toronto knows they can win with Nick Arbuckle. And McLeod Bethel-Thompson has to figure out to win somewhere except he's playing for Toronto.
Yeah, because he is a good quarterback.
He puts up good numbers.
Yeah, he does.
Ottawa's on the bye, so well-deserved.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we saw an interesting week in the CFL. Standings pretty much remain the same for this week as what they were coming into this week because BC and Winnipeg both losing and Toronto and Ottawa both losing. Things are pretty much where they are. Hamilton and Montreal still tops in the East. Calgary and Saskatchewan still the top dogs in the West. But I want to move on to the Toronto Blue Jays and more like MLB in general, mostly about the Jays and the Yankees. So the Blue Jays got a win versus the Giants, getting the sweep.
Boom.
I yelled boom into a camera. It was a good time. Yankees win 2 out of 3 over the Braves. So now the Jays play the Yankees again. And the Yankees have been playing a lot better of late.
They have.
I'm concerned because I actually don't. Okay. Yes, the Jays won. Yes, the Jays have won 3 in a row after the All-Star break. I think today they easily could have lost.
Yeah,
you thought they were going to lost when we were.
I thought they were. They almost. But this team is overachieving. I really feel they're overachieving.
They are definitely.
And the pitching again was suspect. We had Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette between the two of them not be able to catch one fly ball. That was a very easy catch. Yeah, the Jays are getting timely hits in the right moments, which is great. But you worry about this. Can this sustain you? Right? And this next series against the Yankees is huge. The Yankees are starting to play a lot better baseball. I do wonder, are the Yankees like what I think the Montreal Alouettes are? And are they not? I mean, are the Jays more like I said about the Alouettes? I don't think, or the BC Lions, a prime example. I said the BC Lions would be lucky to be a 500 team after the first third of the season, and they're under 500. I think the Toronto Blue Jays have been winning a lot of games and finding ways to win, but I don't know if they're as good as their record.
For Jays are 58-41. I mean, you're
I don't care.
17, 18 games over 500.
Congrats.
So
I think they're all playing their record.
what I'm saying, though, even if they lose a couple games to the Yankees, I don't think the whole season's done.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Dan. But like, you need to win these series to win the division. I think winning the division is really important.
No, I agree with you.
Because the Jays are in the driver's seat to win the division right now.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to win the division.
Ahead of the Yankees.
I think that should be the goal, though.
Yeah.
That should be the goal right now for this team to win the division. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't feel they're as good as their record, but this is their record, so prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove a lot of people wrong. I mean, mind you, Jays Nation, whatever they call themselves, the Bluebirds, they're playing. Their fans are showing up. Back-to-back sellouts again at Skydome. And
yeah.
Love their baseball.
You know, you can say whatever you want about Blue Jays fans, but yeah, sometimes they disappear when the team's not good. But when you put a team that's going to win, the fans are going to show up. Maybe if they're bandwagoners or not, but at the end of the day, you will fill the Rogers Center if you put a team that can win games at the end of the day.
Like 42,000 people packed in there back to back, and probably Friday was a sellout too. I wasn't at the game, but I mean, you know, I think ever since Jacob thinks I'm kind of crazy, but I think for George Springer Grand Slam on Canada Day really changed the momentum for this team this year.
That's not what I said you were crazy about. You said it was one of the greatest moments in Jays history, and I said it can't be.
No, I didn't say that. I said the greatest moment of this era. I think every era has a great moment. Season. Joe Carter had the World Series era with running the bats. Batista had the last era with the bat flip. Roy Halladay had the era before that with the complete pitching, zero-hit game. And I think for this era, which I would consider the years of Grady and Brissett and all that, the George Springer Grand Slam to win the game on Canada Day at the Jays, I mean, it's right up there for this era. I'm not saying it's the best moment in Jays history, but in this era, this group of guys, yeah. And I think, even though it wasn't the start of the winning streak, I think that play started the momentum. Like, look at how that was the 1st of July, and look how good the team has been since July 1st going into the All-Star break.
True.
You know, I think
they did a little bit of slump, but yeah.
I think it was really the play that made this team start believing.
Okay, that's wonderful. I will believe after I see how they play against the Yankees and the Tigers in the next 7 games.
This is going to be tough.
Yeah,
let's say over the next 7 they win 2 out of 7. Then we know this team's been overachieving. Let's even say they can win the Yankees series and split the Tigers series. Then I'll actually put my money where my mouth is and be like, okay, I think this team's the real deal.
Well, you're sending Gosman right now, Scherzer, and then Bassett for the finale against the Yankees. I think as long as your bullpen can sustain what it's doing and your starters are going to take you your 6, 7, like, yeah, this team's hitting. You have some of your farm team players coming in. Badger 1 just gets those. Isn't that guy warm? So
Badger is insane.
Yeah,
you're getting some of these guys some clutch hits, timing. And you got your big you got Springer hitting, Vladdy's hitting, Bo's hitting. So
Springer's still on fire.
Yeah, I got another home run today. Vladdy got a home run today.
Vladdy had a couple key RBIs today.
But I agree with more for like the batting. These guys have some chemistry in that lineup. So
they do. They got to finally have the hitting order in the right order. I feel like the Jays have really struggled in the past few years. You would see a lot of this switching. Oh,
well, what do you do when Santander's healthy? Now what?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like that.
Santander's healthy. Do you bring him in or do you leave the lineup the way it is?
And Jimenez. So you got to imagine Jimenez has to come back.
Jimenez, you have to go back in the lineups. He's so good defensively.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, you almost have to bring both back with the amount of money you're spending.
I don't know if you guys
I got to put Sanchez back in too.
I know the Moore brothers probably didn't see this because they were at the Jays game today, but they showed Dalton Varsho getting a grand slam in AAA and running around the bases.
Yeah.
He was running. I wouldn't say he was running at a fast pace, but he is back up and playing and running again. And apparently Alex Manoah had a good game today, so watch up for that for him. I think Alex Manoah could be a great addition to this lineup. Even if he can't be a starting pitcher, I could see him being a nice little reliever for you. A guy that can come in, throw 3 innings every few days. You can use
Is he
him
coming back?
I don't think he should.
Yeah, I think he should. He was great before he went out.
I think he's just like what everyone thought that Pearson was going to be. I think we saw a blimp of a hot run, and I think Manoah's a AAA pitcher.
No, but if you take him out of the starter role, you'll put him in, like Lane said, like an
Yeah, I would do.
Why would I not want to try it?
I
Why not try it?
Why not try it? Because this team's winning. I'm not changing this lineup.
No. I'm not saying.
Well, I'm not saying the lineup, just because they got a couple pitchers that are not coming back, or they say they're on the.
All I'm saying is, let's say Jacob, hypothetically, you're right, and the Jays do struggle in these next 7 games. All I'm saying is you have options to move around the lineup without making a big blockbuster trade. Like Varsel is a great defensive player. He'll be fantastic to bring in a lineup. You give Santander all that money in free agency at the beginning to be a big-time hitter. He could be a clutch player going down the stretch to get that top division. So I'm not saying change the lineup when it's winning. I'm just saying these next 7 games are going to be a struggle. And if they are a struggle, you got some options to try before trade deadline, before you sell the farm, and see if you can make some moves with what you got.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not even thinking that far ahead as you are. I'm thinking about these next 7. And starting with these next 7 is the Jays' first game against the New York Yankees, which, of course, is in the Streakers app.
Is that announcer going to be in Toronto?
Oh,
I wonder.
Maybe we can have a SummerSlam between the 2 announcers, Lane?
That's right.
Hey, watch out for Lane Dashing.
Yes.
We have a big channel coming up in the next little bit. So he's so dashing to look at. So just keep watching out for him. But like I said, the Blue Jays have a big game coming up against the Yankees to start the series off. The entire series, the entire MLB is on the Streakers app. And as you may or may not know, but you should know, the new update on the app is absolutely incredible. Everything is running smoother than Dan talking to the ladies at the club. It's just remarkable. So let's get into these games. Who wins game 1, Yankees or the Jays? Blaine?
Come back to me. I need a minute. I need a minute to think.
I am going to kick it off with some disappointment, and I think the New York Yankees win the first game of the series. I think the Jays have been winning some games, but they're not playing the right way through all 9 innings. The Yankees have won 7 of their last 10, which still have the Jays. But I think the Yankees rolling are a little bit better than the Jays. So I think the Yankees will at least take game 1. Mr. Morfor.
Yes, sir.
98 wins. They got to win this. Are they winning this game?
Yes, they are winning this game. I look at, you're talking about winning the division. I just took a quick peek at the standings where you're talking. If they get a couple more wins in a row, they could be the best team in the league. We're that close. Well, we're about 2-3 wins away to be best in the league. And what they did, sweep the Yankees. That's another reason why George Springer play was so amazing. It was against the Yankees on Canada today, okay? I mean, they did get the boom and swept them the last time. Everyone thought the San Jose Giants, prime example, they were a real test of this team because they are over 500 or 7 games over 500. They're a good team. And we swept them with the boom, too. It wasn't so many games a little closer than we were like at some moments. My point is we did get it done.
Okay, long story extremely short. Dan says that the Jays will win this game.
Yes.
Dan, you're just repeating everything you said earlier, bud. Mr. Chazzy, who are you taking?
Sorry, Dave, who did he take?
He took the Jays.
Game 1, I think the Yankees might, just from a revenge momentum, sort of like, I don't know, they got a chip on the shoulder going into game 1 here.
So Lane,
and Rodon is on the mound too.
You're out of time, Lane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't want to say it. I really hope I'm wrong. I think the Yankees are gonna win. You know, the Jays swept them. Now they've got their momentum back. You know, you're not gonna best this team. Like at the end of the day, you're not gonna keep besting the Yankees. This is a team that at the end of the day they are better than the Blue Jays. They just are. whether you like to say it or not. I think the Yankees get a bit of a wrench here. I hope I'm wrong. If the Jays win, don't get me wrong. If the Jays can take 2 out of 3, I'll be really happy. But I don't know.
But let's get into some props for this.
Ford's giving us a stink.
I'm going to give Dan one of the Jays props here. Will the starting pitcher in game 1, who did you say he was again, Chassis?
Gosman.
Will Gosman go at least 7 innings?
Yeah.
He has to.
He has to, so I think that's a good choice. Mr. Chazzy. Will Vladdy Guerrero Jr. get at least 2 RBIs?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Mr. Lane. Will the New York Yankees be leading after 6 innings?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no on that one. I think it's going to be a tie game after 6. But I am going to say yes to Aaron Judge getting at least 1 hit and 1 walk.
I actually don't think he's going to get a hit. I think they're going to walk him.
I don't think they will. The Jays didn't walk him last series every at-bat.
Yeah, look what happened.
They still won the game, so I think they're going to go with what they go with. So remember, everyone, though, the MLB is in the Streakers app. So
the new updated Streakers app.
Yes, indeed, the new updated Streakers app. But let's move on. Marner money, well spent, yes or no? They let go of Marner to bring in Marcel, Waugh, Dakota Joshua, and Prezzelli. And you still have a little bit left out of that if you want to actually go into the $12 million he got.
So,
but right now, that's around $11 million, which is what you were paying Mitch Marner roughly. Dan, you're shaking your head furiously no. Why?
Well, I think considering the options the Leafs have and what Tweelivy worked with, I think he's done a fantastic job. And I think the Leafs will be okay. I'm not saying we're going to miss the playoffs and be terrible. But I do think they're taking a step for the worse versus the better. At the end of the day, as much as we don't like Mitch Marner, we don't like his attitude, we don't like his work ethic, the point is, beside Austin Matthews, he got 102 points. So you're thinking in theory, can you get 102 points out of the guys they got? I like the guys they got. I really do. But Prezzelli couldn't even make Montreal. And no offense, Chazzy, Toronto is a deeper lineup than Montreal. So I don't see how he's going to make this Toronto Maple Leaf lineup.
Going into next year?
Yeah. You look at Dakota Joshua. It depends funny enough, Leafs drafted him originally, then traded him when it was a great big winter trade that Doofus did. But so it came back all full circle. It depends which Dakota Joshua you get. If you get for Joshua 2 years ago, when the Canucks made a playoff run, I think you guys have a very good player. But that was his best. That was his best season with 32 points. Okay, very best. Last year, he had 14. Now, I guess there's a lot of drama in Vancouver, but you're paying this guy $3.5 million with a no trade clause. Now, what Jacob pointed out to me today off camera is luckily only for 1 year, but you're paying him the same as Max Domi, which I think is a lot of money for 30 points. So, are you going to get 30 points out of him this year again, or are you going to get the 14 that he got last year? It's a Wicks. Nicholas Roy, for me, is the good spot of this whole situation. I've always liked him. He's a great player. Yeah, he's dipped down a couple seasons in points, but he did have a 41-point year a couple years ago when Vegas was doing very good. So, in theory, I could see him getting 30 or 40 points on this Leaf team, which is very good. Then Marcel from Utah, Lane was right. He did correct me. He did get 57 points 2 years ago, which is fantastic. But he got 20 or 30 last year, so kind of like Dakota Joshua. It all depends. Same with as much as I like him, it's the same with Roy, too. He got only 30 points last year versus 41.
Dan, I got a big rebuttal coming for you.
It just really depends which players they're going to get. I think the Maple Leafs would have been better to spend the money on someone like Nicholas Ewers of Grady from Winnipeg.
No.
Get someone about $7 million and then bring in Roy. Just get 2 players for the 12 versus 4 mediocre players.
Okay, so Dan, you're saying the Florida Panthers are stupid.
No, but they got
the Florida Panthers
type
method.
of player.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Did we really see Marcel going and beating someone up? No.
I see Dakota Joshua doing it. I see Dakota Joshua being the next Sam Bennett. I see Marcel putting up 70 points in Toronto.
70?
Playing with Austin.
We'll be lucky if he hit 60.
Okay, fine. If he hits 60, Waugh hits 40, and now you have Joshua hitting 20, you already have more points than Mitch Marner. What is your point? You're an idiot. You're a lost cause. Get wrecked. Take your hat off and go on the walk of shame. I'm kidding.
Well, that's not very nice.
We're not nice on the island because we don't have a coffee maker. So now I'm grumpy because I need caffeine. But Mr. Dashko,
let's stand up. Jakey because the Argos records.
I have a bit of a rebuttal for Dan, and Dan may not like this. I love Dan. But at the end of the day, I do have a rebuttal now. No one has been more critical about this team in the last 3 months than Lane Dashko. I have been very hard on this team, and all my friends say I'm the worst fan, and I actually might be. But here's what I will say, and this is going to sound crazy, but I want everyone to really listen to what I'm saying because I think it'll make sense what I'm saying. The problem the Leafs had from when they got Matthews to this year was they were too good. And you're going to say, well, what the hell? Isn't that a good thing? No, because they had too many superstars trying to do things, right? You had too many cooks in the kitchen. You had too many spotlight, too many guys. You had too many guys who needed 100-point seasons. You had too many guys getting paid over $10 million. You didn't have depth. You didn't have people on the third and fourth lines that could fill out a roster so that when these guys are performing, these guys at the bottom can do something. And when they got rid of Mitch Marner, what they did was they were able to get, and I'm going to put it this way. Okay, so I'm going to quote Marner $12 million. You got Tavares for 3.5, which is a steal. I know we don't want him at second line center, but if you can get one more year out of him at 75, 80 points, at 3.5, that's a steal. You brought in Nick Waugh, who is a 30, 40-point guy on Vegas who can play with Nick Robertson and guys that are going to produce. That's a steal. You got a guy like Scott.
Robertson isn't signed yet.
What's that? Well, he's going to be on this because no one wants him. I'm going to keep going. So you're going to get Nick Robertson playing in the bottom six with Nicholas Waugh and some of the other guys. Steal. You're going to get a guy like Scott Lutton who, yes, he struggled, but he's a guy that he has said when he needs time, he's going to get to know these guys better. He's going to gel. He's going to be a really good fourth-line center. He's going to steal. You got a guy like Maselli, who Shane Doan knows this guy. And I think this is the key connection that everyone's forgetting. Maselli did have a bad year, but you know who knows this guy better than anyone? The guy named Shane Doan who works
his mother.
Who works for the Leafs and can say, hey, I know what this guy needs and I know who we need to play him with. And when you put him with John Tavares and William Nylander, I'm sorry, he could have an effect like a Zach Hyman or a Connor Brown because he's playing with two skilled players on that second line that he might rack up 60, 70 points just because he plays with William Nylander and John Tavares. You could put Max Domi with Austin Matthews. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, Austin Matthews was bad last year. Yes, he was, but he was also hurt. And according to all the reports we've heard, is 100% healthy again.
I'll see it last year too.
No, they didn't say that. They said they acknowledged. They acknowledged that he was playing with a year-long injury that wasn't going to be better until next year. They said that there's nothing they can do about this year. This is just how it's going to be. But I will see it when I believe it. I understand the criticism here, but. What we've been told is that this Austin Matthews has come back. The injury has passed, and he is back to being 100%. If you can put him with Max Domi and Matthew Knies, which has worked before this lineup. So what they're doing is they're trying to find a needle in a haystack here, right? But this is what Florida did, and this is what I think Jacob is right about, is sometimes you have to go and find a needle in a haystack. You take risks on these guys because these guys might be able to come. And then there's Dakota Joshua, who, yes, had a bad year last year, but everyone forgets he had a critical illness that took him out. It was He missed all of training camp. He missed like most of the regular season. He had family issues. He had personal issues. He had mental health issues. And the guy still put up almost 20 points and was a big voice and was someone who came in with motivation, came in with heart, came in with physicality, came in with grit. And now he's coming in to a team that has the resources and has people that will help him along in an organization that he knows. I think this guy could explode again. If that guy gets 30 goals, we're going to be laughing at a third line. He can do it. He's got them. He could be the Sam Bennett of this team.
And Bruce Boudreau said the exact same thing. In the right situation, Dakota Joshua is a 50-point player.
He could be 60 points.
Dan, you can look all you want, but what you're doing is you're looking.
I think it's great.
What you did was too. You also have to look at it. Scott Lawton, Dakota Joshua are both on 1-year terms.
That bottom six is insane.
So if it doesn't work, oh well, then let them walk. You'll have
you guys are looking at a lot of what ifs. Oh, this guy's gonna have a career year.
Okay, but Dan, but isn't that what
this guy's gonna have a career? I'm looking at what they did last year, and last year, all of these guys underperformed.
Okay, the Jays were deal double.
Jays were terrible last year, and you think now they're going to win you think they're going to win the World Series?
No, I'm not saying.
I remember this. You told me when the Florida Panthers got Bobrovsky, they were crazy to pay a goalie $10 million.
Yeah, I did think.
And now I don't think they win their back-to-back cups without him.
Okay,
you have to in a salary cap world, you have to find the right players for the right price.
Yeah,
and what Tree Living is doing is instead of going for a Nikolai Ehlers, pay him $9 million, you're basically back where you were. 4 superstars.
Exactly.
Doesn't work.
It hasn't worked, and I don't know why.
Just did the same thing by going and getting 4 superstars.
So what
Tree has done, Tree Living has went out and has looked, okay, what are the teams that are having success? What has Florida done? And what Florida, everyone right now should be modeling their teams to Florida, and they're big, they're physical, and they're mediocre in the season. Toronto will have a worse regular season. They will be better in the playoffs.
Who cares about the regular season, right?
As long as you make the dance.
Player that I do like, you guys forgot about, I think everyone forgot about, that Tree Living did sign the league minimum contract around July 1st with Travis Boyd. I think he's a good player that has been really bad luck in other teams. But he did have his best season.
He had a bad year last year. That means he's stupid. He should be driving the bus simulator in 20.
Oh, yeah, and you got Steven Lorentz. Like, I just think this – I don't know. I just think this bottom six is like this bottom six to me, it's getting up there to be one of the best. I think it could be potentially one of the best bottom six.
I really think this Marcel is going to have a breakout year in Toronto.
So do I.
Because he put up 50 points playing with Caden Keller. Now put him with William Nylander and John Tavares.
And the thing
put him with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nice. And either way, he's going to be with elite goal scorers, not good players, with elite goal scorers. Honestly, too, and I am going to say this here, no one else has talked about this. Maybe Mitch Marner struggles without Austin Matthews. We don't know. We have never seen Marner without Matthews or Tavares. Remember, Matthews' best year was with Max Domi and Tyler Bertuzzi. I would argue Matthew Nyes is a better Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yes.
Therefore, I do think they spent the money in the right place. Now, will we know for sure until the playoffs hit? Honestly, no. I'll be honest. I don't really care about the regular season as long as they make the playoffs.
Neither do I.
Let's
just care about winning the division. I don't care about 100 points. As long as they make the playoffs, that's all I care about. I just want to see what this team does in a playoff environment. And I think they're trying to build a bigger, stronger team, and they've done that with these acquisitions.
And you still have about $1.8 million in cap space left. And
you're still rumored to be trading Yarncroke and Kemp.
And Yarncroke, right?
You got 15 forwards. You're not going to go in with 15 forwards.
So if you trade Yarncroke and Kemp, there's another like $3.5-4 million in cap space right there.
Right.
You might be able
to have $5 million again to go make a move at the trade deadline. I think the Leafs won't do much more going into the regular season.
No, I don't either.
They may try to move Yarncroke and Kemp, or they might keep them and use them as deadline pieces to move. For a team that's looking for a really strong penalty killer at the deadline, and then maybe they can refill some of the prospect pool.
Or you wait till deadline and you wait for a situation, I'll call it, like a Mikko Rantanen situation where maybe a Martin Necas isn't going to resign. Colorado is bad, or let's just say Pittsburgh is bad, and you can pick up a Rickard Raquel or Brian Rust over here. You find it. Yeah, you find a situation where a guy at the deadline saying, "I'm not going to resign," and bingo, there's your way. And like this what Florida did with Brad Marchand. They waited and waited until a guy said, "I'm not resigning. You better trade me." And then at least they're going to be like, "Oh, we have all these assets. We can trade you." So you get nothing. And that's what they didn't have last year to make that trade. So I think what Treliving is doing is saying, "Oh, you're right. We didn't have anything to make that trade for Amico Reyna because we didn't have the right assets. But if we save these guys, we have these guys here that we can picture in and be like, well, we have Yarn, we have Yarn, we have Nick Robertson, we have Lorenz. We have these bottom six guys that we can maybe throw to you and say, yeah, well, we have this guy, we have a Maselli, we have a Waugh. We can put that in a trade to get better if we have to, or we could start, like you said, start putting the farm system if we're saying, oh, this team, we're getting bad. We need to start rebuilding because Matthews is going to leave us in 3 years. Let's get some picks back so we can start stocking our cupboards again. I actually think what Treliving is doing is a really good job. I never liked what Dubas did because I think Dubas just looked at NHL statistics and said that's how you win a team. I actually really got to give a lot of credit to Brad Treliving because I think he actually understands how to build a hockey team.
Yeah, true.
I agree with you.
Like how has we never been, and this is another thing, how have we never up until this year been able to get a good contract? Every other year it was like, oh, we'll just pay them whatever they want because that's how business works. No, you gotta negotiate with the guy. Chazzy's not gonna come and say, hey Chazzy, I want $12 million. Oh, here you go, Lane. No, he's gonna negotiate with me. You gotta actually toss
I want $12 million.
You got to negotiate with their agent and try to get the price down. How was that so hard to do for 7 flipping years? And now we can actually do it. We actually got guys on deals. Holy moly.
Exactly.
You could say they got more for their money.
That's right.
Yeah, that's called negotiating.
Does your rookie out of London crack the sky?
Oh, yeah, Easton Cowan. Great example.
Oh, I forgot about him.
There's another guy that maybe they see him in training camp and go, wow, this is a guy we can use. And now with that new rule, you can even maybe put him in the Marlies or something. You never know. You give him 7 games and see what happens. Maybe he's another guy you could punch into your top 6.
So what I mean for Toronto, I think overall they've done a good job, but I don't expect to see anything else until preseason minimum.
But what I'm getting is you guys are pretty happy.
Well, some of us are.
Besides more for
Dan's still a grumpy grout. But do you know who else are grumpy right now? The WNBA players. And the WNBA players at the All-Star game wore shirts that say, pay what you owe us. Negotiating a new CBA. They're Angela Reese, who is the cover athlete for NBA 2K26.
Not Caitlin Clark, but
that kind of blew my mind. But
she's got like, cover NBA.
Players are the WNBA version of the game. Yes, that players are willing to sit. This is a really tough situation because we've seen this in a lot of leagues. For example, I remember in the CFL, the players complained that they wanted revenue from the jerseys that were sold because players in the CFL do not get that. But it's tough when the league isn't turning a profit. Now, do I think the WNBA can turn a profit? Absolutely.
Yes.
I really think they can. I really think they're building something. But last year they lost $50 million. It is very difficult to pay players more money. And this isn't me saying that they're not worth more money, by the way. They're very talented athletes. Like some of the passing plays, Caitlin Clark shooting from the logo, like she's Steph Curry, except she can actually run still. Steph Curry, now he hobbles like an old man Spezza. But like you're looking at the WNBA, we are getting record TV numbers. We're starting to get good attendance. I really hope these players can see that and maybe hold off on maybe say like, look, can we do a bridge deal CBA for 4 years and see where this takes us from there? Because I honestly think in 3 to 4 years, this league can be making money. They're talking on expansion now, bringing in a team into Toronto, which I can't wait for that. I'm super excited for that.
Well, that'd be amazing.
Fans are going, man. Like fans are going. And as a fan, if you want the WNBA players to make more money, then support the league. Buy the merch, go to the games. I can't wait to go to a game in Toronto. We're going to make Chazzy leave his house, which is exciting. breaking news. The Chazinator. Well, we'll make sure we have milk on standby in the train. But that's a very talented league, and it is really gaining traction. I just hope that they can patch things up to continue to make this work. Because I honestly think they're close. Lane, you kind of were sharing similar when you and I were talking about this off camera.
Yeah, it's like one of those situations where it's like, I get what they're coming from because the WNBA has sort of kind of exploded overnight, right? Like even someone like me, you know, who I try to watch every sport, but I wasn't really keeping my eye on the WNBA. But then, you know, you keep hearing about Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese, and you hear about some of these other players, and some Angela Boston, all of a sudden this name comes up. You're like, well, who are these girls? And then I was even intrigued. I went on to my NBA game and saw you could do a franchise mode with the WNBA, which I thought was really cool. And I started to learn about these players and being like watching them and started to assess these players. And some of these players like Bianca and SU and like all these players, I'm like, wow, you know, these girls are really good and they've got good grades and they've got cool jerseys. They got a lot of cool stadiums. They play in big stadiums. And then it was on TSN the other night, the All-Star game. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch that. And I tuned into it. And I was like, these girls are pretty good. And you know what? I got to give this league some credit. They really have sort of stepped it up in the department where I feel like, I will be honest, I feel like the PWHL hasn't really stepped up. They've kind of gone, I think, down in their marketing with kind of going off the success of the first year and kind of forgetting about it. I actually give credit to the WNBA for continuing to push the women's sports and really start to, yes, they're taking a lot of help from the NBA,
which is fine.
But they are at least putting the effort in that I see to actually put it on TSN, to get it on ESPN, to get coverage, to get on the highlights, to push the product, to get the fans, to get the little girls invested, to get girls to want to play basketball. So I will give them credit. They are doing the right things. But I do think maybe going on a strike right now could potentially be a bad thing because just as you're starting, maybe you're right. Maybe do a 2-year bridge deal. It's like, maybe just give us 2 more years and we'll show you guys that we can be the next best thing. Don't go on strike because you might lose your momentum. You know, you don't realize what happens. Like even in the NHL and MLB and NBA, when they go on strikes, it's like it's catastrophe for the league. And these are the big
lockout back in the day.
Terrible.
The NHL about 5 years to recover from that.
Yeah,
and that's a league that's already very established. Like I agree with you, Lane. I think the WNBA is doing a lot of things right. They're marketing their game better. They're bringing a team into Toronto, which I do think is going to help having a Canadian market. We've seen the way the Raptors have completely, you know, run Canada with their "We Are the North" branding, and I think we could see the same thing from a WNBA team in Toronto. So don't be choking like the Leafs there, Lane. But go ahead, Mr. Morfor.
Here's a question: with the Toronto team coming to the WA, you said the NBA sponsoring it, basically funding it. Is it MLSE is buying this WNBA?
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe it is, but don't quote me on that. And
if that's the case, I think that's very good.
She is part owner, yes, but MLSE is also a part of Serena
Williams.
The Kirk tennis player. She's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know she is. So that's great. So you got some big owner buying this team. I think that's exactly what it needs. And
they're owned by MLSE.
I'll just say it. If they set out, if big players like Reese and Clark sit out now, this will kill the league. Because you finally got
hasn't said she's willing to sit out yet, by the way. I mean, Angela Reese, she's kind of the villain of the WNBA, and she does like to stir the pot. Which, by the way, I think the beef between Reese and Clark is good for the league.
Oh, 100%.
It's kind of like the old beefs between Sundin and Alfredson back in the day.
100%. It's fantastic.
Right? Like it's good for the league. Or like Carol Owens and anyone.
Right.
It's good for the leagues, right?
But you're just starting to turn a point where people like yourself and Lane and Chazzy all taking it serious now, looking at it, right? Which we didn't have that a few years ago. So you're just starting to turn the page and getting people to look at you. We got that momentum. If you sit out now, it's over. You gotta give it at least a couple years to boost up attendance, to boost up money. I think so. I think
no,
I think
because Dan, like the thing is though, they're trending in the right way.
they
Attendance
are
is up
exactly.
over 200%. Revenue is up. It's just still not up enough.
Yeah.
So
And
I think maybe the league too, they need to go after the young fans. You look, we were at the Jays game on Sunday, and like junior Jays, right? It's huge. You get a whole bunch of screaming kids. Maybe that's why I have a headache at this point. You get a bunch of screaming kids. They're excited to be there. They get to run the bases. It's a great time. Maybe the WNBA needs to take that approach and make like junior women's basketball camp. So think about it like someone with their daughter, they can say, hey, you can do this too. And then when you build a fan like that, you build a fan for life. Like you look at our family here, we have been Toronto Argo fans for like 3 generations. Right. So, and if Dan and I ever have children, which is a terrifying thought, Chazzy will be the crazy uncle, Lane will be the other crazy uncle, and hopefully there's daycare on the island. But I mean, you look at that and so on and so forth. It's building a generational fan base. The WNBA needs to work on building a generational fan base. And if they do like more, you think about hometown hockey in the NHL when they did those for the years before COVID, that was bringing 4 or 5 different generations coming together to enjoy the sport of hockey. Maybe the WNBA needs to be taking an event marketing approach like that to help boost the league. Because I do think they're close. I think they are very, very close. And Chazzy, you have been quiet for way too long. So what's your thought on it?
No, I think they do a great job. But I think with the couple exhibition games they had in Canada, I think the WNBA, just like the women's hockey, they're doing a great job on that grassroots young girl inspiring. Let's get back to the sort of the business side. I'm sort of with the players because what we're not talking about here is the elephant in the room is the college game has changed. And we knew about these girls coming into the WNBA a couple years into their college game. And now with the NIL, that game has all changed. So I don't know if it's true, but Angel Reese, she makes just under 6 figures when all you hear is her name. So does she have a point on sort of like, I don't know if it's about the deal that they have now, but they got to set themselves up for the deal in the future and the momentum and the expansion. And they got to, they're doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm sort of on the player side here because of the college game has changed. Like, some of these girls, and I don't know what it is, but they could be making $500,000 to $1 million in college
now
for 4 or 5 years, and they're not even making that.
They're starting to get shoe deals,
which is the game's
totally. We're starting to see that though in the WNBA, and I don't want to get political on it, but there's a certain lovely man, we'll call him, who wants to change that in the NIL with the NIL deals, and he wants to limit them in America. So that could be changing college sports drastically. So maybe then the WNBA needs to be saying, yeah, we can't get you a bigger contract, but we're going to do this, this, and this to get you more marketing exposure, to build your brand, and to be able to get you more shoe. We're going to line you up with shoe deals. We're going to line you up with more sponsors. Like you look at Chris Trevor talked about this in the Canadian Football League.
Angela got a shoe deal.
She did. But I mean, you look at Chris Trevor in the Canadian Football League, and he said he makes way less on his contract in Canada, but he has so many sponsors and marketing deals in Winnipeg because he's a superstar in Winnipeg. Everyone loves him. That he makes more money in Canada than he did in the States. So maybe that's a way the WNBA can position themselves, as you said, Chazzy, the way NIL works, they're making all this money on sponsorship. So maybe this is something that the WNBA needs to be like, look, we're going to partner you up with a marketing toolkit to help you get better sponsorship deals. Because I think there's no reason why these WNBA players can't be the face of Gatorade or the face of Prime, so we never have to look at Logan Paul anymore. Just kidding, Logan Paul. You're a very beautiful man. But I mean, like, it's one of those things. If they could go that route, then there's a new avenue to make these players money. And also, too, if WNBA players are getting big sponsorships, this is helping the league, too, because now the league is everywhere.
As you gentlemen are talking about this, I found a brilliant point.
Oh, boy, I'm scared.
I think in order to see things work out in the future, you have a look back into history. And one of the women's sports that have really done very well, and I think it's the best women's sport, is tennis. And back in the day, they had the exact same argument in tennis that, women do not make as much money in tennis as men do. And what they agree to, I think, is the best solution, and I think the WNBA should do the same thing. They said, we can't pay you as much money as the men because you're not making as much money as the men. But we will pay you the same percentage of the revenue as we pay the men. So that makes them want to promote their league, wants them to go higher, wants them to do better. And as the league makes more money, they make more money. At the end of the day, the WNBA is growing a lot, but still losing money and be funded by the NBA. They can't pay the people until they make money. Once they make money, as I think they will in the next year or two, then I think we should do what they did in tennis, because I think they should get paid the same as men. They're equally as talented athletes as men. We all can see that. But business is business and money is money. So I think that's why tennis did the best thing. It's the percentage. Whatever percentage of the profit is, that's what you'll make. You'll make the same percentage as the men. And I think that solves all of life's problems.
All of life's problems. Oh, good Lord. Dan's just going to go to every peace embassy and just be like, WNBA percentage, and everything's done. But, I mean, this is a conversation that I think is going to be had for over the next 6 months. And let us know if you want us covering more WNBA content, because it is a growing league. And as Dan said, the talent is there. I think the WNBA could be as big as the NBA one day. I really do. It's just going to take time.
Well, look at women's tennis. It's practically as big as men's tennis right now.
It's huge.
But it wasn't 30 or 40 years ago.
True. However,
they did the right things.
Before we wrap up the show for tonight, Dan, what is your island mindset for us?
Okay. Well, I gotta give you credit, Mr. Jacob Moore, as we went to the Jays game today.
That's a first.
And we're all walking out. And Jacob knows in the seat behind us that someone left their Blue Jay jersey behind. So Jacob asked, we walked around and said, is this your jersey? And luckily we found the owner of the jersey.
That's cool. We should just brought it to my house, but I mean,
I know, in theory, that's what you like. In theory, that's what you want to do. I was thinking the same thing too.
I'm joking. No, what jersey was it? It wasn't.
Yeah, it was just it didn't have a name.
It was just like a random. It wasn't like a player.
No, but still, those jerseys are still a couple $100, and I think it was the right thing to do was to try and find a rightful owner. And you got to give the other people credit too, because anyone could have said, "Oh yeah, that's my jersey," and walked off. But they didn't. They looked around and found the right people. So get on Jacob and get on the rest of the fans in that section today, making sure that the right owner got that jersey. I think it was just awesome to see. It's nice to see still honest people out there.
That is very true, because you remember the karma you put out in the world has a way of finding you.
That's right. Yep.
So thank you very much for watching this episode of the Strikers On podcast. We will be back again on Thursday for our Thursday edition, where we'll be previewing everything going on in the weekend. By then, we'll be able to talk a lot about what the Blue Jays have been doing, and maybe I'll be singing a different tune by then. Who knows? Right. Thank you very much for joining. I'm Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Chazzy, the CEO, Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco, and Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
We'll see you Thursday.
Bye.